Well, hello there, this is Shane. How are you guys and gals doing today? I hope very well. We are slated to have some more inclement weather today, so yay for that. But what are we going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about By the Sword from F. Paul Wilson, Repairman Jack number 12, and it was narrated by Dick Hill. So, the first thing that we need to address is this is some really good water. Actually, the biggest thing that we need to address is the audio quality in this one versus the previous one. My God, what a difference. I'm not sure if it was like a different person that was in the production team or if they realized what they did was bad and okay. It certainly is a lot better. So I would be much more likely to recommend this audiobook to somebody than the previous one that we went over. Now, like I said, this one is By the Sword, and the way that Dick was doing the narrations was okay. There was a little bit more playfulness in this one than there was in the original one, but that kind of calmed down after a little bit. So there wasn't so much to take me out of this story as I was listening to it. And in fact, I think I finished this one in 2 days. I mean, that's saying something because the story actually was really good. Now, in the previous one, there were some things that I left out, like the Kickerman and a couple other things. And there was a reason why I did that. It's because it, of course, ties into the otherness. But like in the previous one, we got all kinds of lore. In this one, we meet somebody that I don't think we've met quite yet officially. And also, Jack trying to figure out who the woman with the little dogs are, because there's multiple of them. So that's kind of neat.
What? I think I should have read the book or something.
Now, in the previous one, there were some things that I left out.
We met him
There's a
officially.
reason why I did that, like the Kickerman.
The Kickerman.
And a couple other things. It's because the Kickerman force ties into the other, who the woman with the little dogs are. And also, Jack trying to
I'm not
figure
gonna
out
read it.
who
You know what?
the
I'm like,
Kickerman, because there's multiple.
I'm just gonna edit the video. Just give me notes if you.
Kickerman
Just give me notes next time if you're wanting me to.
You're
gonna give me notes.
Did the story elicit a emotional response on my part? It did. I am happy to be getting all the lore that we're getting in these. I'm happy to be getting all the details that weren't there before. I'm happy to see how things are kind of tying together for things to make sense, really. There's not a whole lot of complicatedness to this, but if you take the entirety of those 12 books, there's a lot of details across all of them. And it's in those details that it's quite amazing to see how things are going to play out. God bless, there it is. Okay, there we go. This story kind of floats around this sword that was created a long time ago. It was also at the blast in Hiroshima. It's got some negative effects now. If you think back to some of the things that you've heard, be it right, be it wrong, it was thought that like sword masters would make two swords, one was good, one was evil. Well, in this particular sword, the sword maker put a bit of his goodness into it so that it wouldn't just be a tool for evil. There's questions on what has happened with the sword, and it sounds so boring, but it's not. It's really not. Jack gets hired on to find the sword, and in doing so, there's all kinds of things that he gets into in between meeting a traditional cult that shouldn't exist anymore, but does, and then the Kickermen. They kind of have a big blowout in between the traditional cult and them, and then Jack, and then the advocate, and then the anti-advocate. There's just so much stuff that happens in this story that it's kind of cool to see. Maybe the story in this book was a little bit of see it coming, right? It's that backfill stuff that was really important in this one, I think personally. And if you've read it, I would be curious to know if you think it is as well. So, is it worth your time, efforts, and energies? If you've read some of the other ones, yeah, it would be. I would certainly say skip the last one. Just read that one physically. But this one, you can listen to audio. and you should be perfectly fine. The reason why it's worth your time, effort, and energy is because of all that lore that just kind of comes out of nowhere. But on top of it, it's also a very formulated, this is Repairman Jack's stuff in a nutshell. You know, he gets contacted by somebody to find something. They're not upfront about everything about the details that he should know. Come to find out that ties into the other in one way or the other. We get filled in about Dawn. We find out what she's doing. She actually has a fairly long subplot in this one that leads into the main plot towards the end. The rest of the story, whenever it comes to Jack learning more about himself, learning more about what he's supposed to be taking over, and learning more about the Advocate, in which the things that person has done over the course of time and how long they've been there, is phenomenal. So for that alone, I would say yes, this book is certainly worth your time and your money and your efforts to get through it. I've got no idea what's coming up in the next one. I can't wait to see. I will be getting it and reading it, but I'm probably going to intersperse some other books in between now and that review. That way it just doesn't become a F. Paul Wilson review channel, right? Fair enough. But this is the most interesting comment that we got this week. Thank you so much for splashing that up there, Scraps, and thank you for leaving the comment. And very soon I'm going to be making a comments video, and we'll drop that during the middle of the week, maybe sometime soon-ish. Can't make any promises because of weather, but we'll see what happens there. And if you're still watching, you are my personal hero. Thank you so very much. Seriously, I mean, thank you for sticking around towards the end. I'm not sure which one of these videos that's coming in you'll pick, if it's this one or this one, but if you pick that one, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.